Good evening, guys. How was the day? How was the day? Sure, you had a great weekend. Evening, if you can hear me, I want you to drop your comments. If you can hear me, drop your comments. Welcome you to tonight's weekly market analysis session. It's going to be a wonderful session. I will be sharing my bias on several of the major currency pairs. Okay, and I believe it will really help you a lot in your decision making this new week. Okay, so let me know if you can hear me. I want to be sure you all can hear me. If you can hear me, drop a comment. I see a lot of opportunities in the market this week. I see a lot of opportunities, a lot of good setup in the market this week. I can't wait to share them with you guys. So if there's any pair you want us to analyze together, drop it in the comment space. Drop it in the comment space. Drop it in the comment space. And if you have any question on strategy, risk and money management, and trading plan, psychology, just drop it in the comment space. Okay, all your questions will be attended to. Drop it in the comment space. Okay, so let's go straight to the chart. Okay, so we'll start with gold. So the first tool I use for analysis is the candlestick. That is the first tool I use for my analysis. I use the candles to know the trend of the market, to define the trend of the market. So if we look at let's start with the weekly time frame. So if you look at last week candle, it closed bearish. It closed bearish, and that tells me the bears are in control. Okay, that tells me last week was strongly bearish, and if last week was bearish, there is a high probability for price to go bearish this week on gold. Okay, there's a high probability that gold would go bearish. Okay, so after looking at the candlestick formation, another thing I need to look at or consider is where price is at the moment. So in previous week we had a support. A support was established right after the formation of this bullish candle. Okay, we had a spinning bottom and the next candlestick closed bullish. So after the close of this bullish candle, a new support was formed. Okay, and last week candle, as you can see, tested that support, and there was a strong rejection from that support. So that tells me that buyers are showing up in the market. Okay, it tells me buyers are showing up in the market. Now if I would sell, if I'm to sell gold, I need to ensure that a candle, a 4-hour candle, closes below that support. It is not confirmed yet that the bears have overpowered the buyers. Okay, it has not confirmed, it is not confirmed yet that the bears have overpowered the bulls, because they've not been able to break this support that was formed, okay, at this point. Also, if you go back here, you would see that we had a support at this point. Can you see this? A support was formed after the formation of this bullish candle. A support was formed here. So this is our support zone. This is our support zone. So for us to confirm or to be sure that we have um, bears in the market, that the bears are showing up strong in the market, we should see a breakout from this support zone. You could call this your demand zone. So if a candle closes below this demand zone, that tells us that supply has exceeded demand. Okay, supply has exceeded demand. So if that zone is broken, then we should expect more bearish move on gold. and this will be the next area of liquidity on gold. That will be the next draw on liquidity. This equal low will be the next draw on liquidity on gold. That's if this support zone or demand zone is broken. Okay, so that's it on the weekly time frame. Let's switch to the daily time frame. What do we have on the daily after the close of last week candle? Let's look at the candles that formed on daily time frame. So let's go down to daily. So on daily, you would see price is currently at a support level. You can see we had a support here. You can see we had a support here. If you go back here also, you would see that level is a support also, was a support. Can you see? We had a support here. So gold is currently at a support zone. Okay, and when price hits a support, price is likely going to break out from that support or pull back from that support. Those are the two things that happens when price hits a resistance or a support level. So gold is currently at a support, okay, and as you can see, there's a little rejection from that support zone. Okay, so that's what we have on daily. So let's go down to 4 hour. What do we have on 4 hours? So you can see a bullish candlestick has formed on 4 hour time frame. This is a spinning bottom. This is a spinning bottom on 4 hour time frame. That tells me that buyers are showing up, the bulls are showing up in the market, they are showing up strong in the market. Okay, so after the close of that bullish candle, we had a support was formed. Okay, a support was formed. So a support was formed at this level. Okay, but we don't need this since we've identified a support zone on the daily time frame. Okay, so we have our support zone. As you can see, this is our support zone. So price at that zone now. Okay, so let's go down to 1 hour. What do we have on 1 hour? On 4 hour, this is a spinning bottom indicating change in trend from bearish to bullish. But let's go down to 1 hour. What do we have on 1 hour? Okay, so you can see on 1 hour, you can see what we had on 1 hour. This is engulfing pattern. You can see this is an engulfing pattern. Before the formation of this engulfing candle, we had a spinning bottom. So if we go by the formation we have on 4 hour and 1 hour, okay, if we go by what we have, the formation, the pattern we have on 4 hour and 1 hour, it indicates that the bulls are showing up strong in the market. Okay, it indicates that the bulls are showing up strong in the market. So this week, my bias for gold is bullish. Okay, my bias for gold this week is bullish. Okay, so at what point would I buy gold? At what price would I buy gold? Let's go to 15 minutes. Okay, so this is what we have on 15 minutes. So if I'm to buy gold, a 4 hour candle must close above this resistance of 15 minutes. Okay, a 4 hour candle must close above that resistance. As you can see, it's a key level because it was a resistance at this point, and if you go back, it was a support turn resistance. Okay, it was a support turn resistance. So if a 4 hour candle breaks out from this resistance, that is when I would consider buying gold. Sorry, that's when I would consider buying gold. And I told you best time to consider selling gold is when the support or demand zone, which we identified on daily and weekly, if it is broken, that is when you should consider selling gold. That's when I would consider selling gold. Okay, so if I'm buying gold from this point, okay, there's a breakout from that resistance. Where will be the next draw on liquidity on gold? Okay, so it will be this previous high on 15 minutes. Let's go to 4 hour and daily. Okay, the next draw on liquidity will be this previous high. Okay, and also next draw on liquidity will be at this high. So those will be my targets: TP1, TP2, and TP3. I hope that is clear. If you have any question, drop it in the comments space. So that's my take on gold. My bias for gold this week is bullish. Okay, it is bullish. So let's move to the next pair, Australian dollar USD. Let's start with the weekly time frame. The pattern formed on the weekly time frame will determine the bias for the week. Okay, the candlestick pattern on the weekly time frame will determine the trend for the week. Okay, so let's go to weekly. So you can see what we have on weekly. This is a spinning bottom. You can see that this is a spinning bottom, and spinning bottom indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. Also, you would also notice that we had a previous support. You can see this was a support. Can you see that? That was a support. So price tested that support. It actually broke out from that support, and there was a rejection, a strong rejection from that support. If you also go back here, you would see we had a support here, and we had draw liquidity at this previous low, and I think that was the reason for the breakout. Okay, the draw liquidity at this low. Let's see. So you can see, I think that was the reason price broke out from this resistance turn support. Okay, so right now with the formation we have on Australian dollar USD, I am expecting a bullish move on Australian dollar USD this week. I'm expecting a bullish move on Australian dollar USD. Okay, I would only consider selling. I won't sell, but if I'm to sell, okay, if I'm to take the risk selling, a candle, a 4-hour candle must close below the low of this support zone. It must close below this support zone. That is when I will consider selling Australian dollar USD. But this week, my bias on Australian dollar USD is bullish. So if I'm buying from the current market price, this will be the first draw on liquidity, relative equal high. Then the next draw on liquidity will be this. Okay, using the weekly time frame, let's go down to um, the daily time frame. Now, after identifying the pattern on the weekly time frame, like I said, we have a spinning bottom here. If we go down to the daily time frame, and we can find an engulfing pattern or a doji or inverted hammer, okay, or bullish engulfing, if we can find those pattern on the daily, that would also confirm, okay, that the trend is bullish. That will also confirm that the trend is changing from bearish to bullish. So let's see the pattern we have on daily. So you can see on daily we have what looks like an engulfing pattern, right? Okay, this is a spinning bottom. This is an engulfing candle, reason being that it closed above the high of this previous bearish candle. And you could even see before the formation of the spinning top, we had what looks like an hammer, right? What looks like an hammer. So then this candle now engulfed both, closed above the high of these candles. This tells me that buyers are showing up strong in the market. So if we go by what we have on the weekly and daily, the buyers for the week should be bullish. Okay, the buyers for the week should be what? Bullish. Okay, so at what point would I consider buying Australian dollar USD this week? At what price would I consider buying Australian dollar USD? Let's go to 4-hour time frame. Okay, so we had a resistance here on 4-hour. A resistance was formed at this level. So also a fair value gap should be created on 1 hour, okay, or 15 minutes time frame. 1 hour or 15 minutes time frame. So let's go to 1 hour. Let's see what we had on 1 hour. Okay, so you can see a fair value gap was created at this point. So I expect price to fill this gap, pull back and fill this gap. So this is the area, this is the zone I would consider buying Australian dollar USD. I hope you get that. This is where I'll be considering buying Australian dollar USD. Okay, you could also apply your Fibonacci, wait for price to pull back to discount, take it from the swing low to swing high. So we want to see price pull back to discount. You know, discount level is below 50. Okay, discount zone is below level 50. So wait for price to pull back and fill that fair value gap, which is at discount, before we buy Australian dollar USD. Okay, that's my take on Australian dollar USD. I am bullish on Australian dollar USD this week. Let's go to 15 minutes time frame. Same thing applies on 15 minutes time frame. We'll wait for a pullback to that fair value gap before we buy. As you can see on 15 minutes, there's shift in market structure. Okay, there's break of structure, shift in market structure on 15 minutes, and after I break in structure, you expect price to pull back to fill fair value gaps, okay, at a discount zone before you buy. I hope that is clear. So let's move to the next pair. GBP USD. If you have any question, drop it in the comment space. Okay, drop it in the comment section. So GBP USD, as you know, is positively correlated with Australian dollar USD, Euro USD, and New Zealand USD. So if my bias on Australian dollar USD is bullish, I should expect a bullish setup. I should expect to see a bullish setup on GU. So let's start with the weekly time frame. So first thing is the candlestick pattern that formed last week. Okay, what's the pattern that formed? Okay. So you can see the pattern that formed last week on GU. This is armor, right? This is an armor, or we could call this a doji. A doji, a valid doji is not supposed to have a body. Okay, so we'll call this armor, or we could call it a spinning bottom. Armor, spinning bottom, both are bullish reversal pattern. So you can call it hammer, you can call it a spinning top. Okay, so an hammer formed on the weekly time frame, that tells me that buyers are showing up strong in the market. That tells me that demand is increasing, supply is dropping. Okay, demand is increasing and supply is decreasing. And when demand increases, supply decreases, price, there's a high probability that price will go up, right? There's a high probability that price would go up. So I would be considering buying GBP USD this week. So we had an hammer candle formation, and also you would notice that we had a support here. Can you see that? So price tested that support and there was a strong rejection from that support. Okay, so I will be looking for buy setup. So after the formation of this hammer, next thing is to go down to the next lower time frame, which will be daily time frame. So if we go down to daily time frame, what am I looking out for on the daily time frame? I want to see a bullish reversal pattern on the daily time frame. Okay, I want to see a bullish reversal pattern on the daily time frame. I want to see maybe an engulfing pattern, an inverted hammer, a doji, a spinning bottom. Okay, that's what I want to see on the daily time frame. So let's switch to daily time frame. Let's see what we have on the daily. After the close of last week candle, let's switch to daily. What do we have on daily? So you can see what we have on daily. Okay, this is a bullish marubuzu. Okay, this is a bullish marubuzu. This is a bullish marubuzu. Okay, this is a bullish marubuzu, but it's not yet confirmed yet that we have much buyers in the market. Reason being that the high of this previous bearish candle was not cleared. The high was not cleared. You can see price has tested that high several times, and there has been a lot of rejection. Can you see? A resistance has been formed at that level. Can you see that? A resistance has been formed at that level. So we need to wait for a breakout. We need to wait for a candle to close above that resistance before we consider buying GBP USD. Okay, let's wait for that resistance to be broken before we buy GBP USD. And also, after the formation of this Marubuzu candle, I believe a fair value gap was created on lower time frames, 4 hour, 1 hour, or 15 minutes time frame. So let's go identify those fair value gap on a lower time frame. So on okay, let's go to 4 hour before we switch to. So on 4 hour, you would see a fair value gap was created here. On 4 hour, you can see a fair value gap was created here. You can see it here, the gap was created. So we should wait for price to pull back and fill that gap. At this point, price tested it, but it didn't fill the gap. It didn't fill the gap. It just tested it. Okay, so we should wait for price to pull back and fill this fair value gap before we buy. Okay, and if you're buying from this zone, your TP, your first TP could be at this previous high. This become area of liquidity. So the first draw on liquidity will be at this previous high. And if this previous high is cleared, then we should aim for this next draw on liquidity, this relative equal high. That will be the next target on GU. So this week, my bias for GU is bullish. I'm not interested in selling GU this week. I'm not interested in selling GU this week. My bias for GU this week is bullish. If you can hear me, drop a comment. If you have any question, if there's any instrument you want us to analyze together, drop it in the comment section. Okay, so that's my take on GU. I am bullish on gold this week. I am bullish on Australian dollar USD. I am bullish on GBP USD. Okay, so let's move to the next pair. Euro USD. Okay, so let's start with the weekly. What do we have on the weekly time frame? The pattern, the candlestick pattern on the weekly time frame will determine the direction, will determine the trend for the week. Okay, if you've been following me, you know that's the tool I use in defining the trend, the candlestick pattern. That's the first thing I look out for when analyzing the market. Okay, so let's start with the weekly. So you can see on the weekly, what do we have on the weekly? This is an hammer, right? Should we call this an hammer or a spinning bottom? I want to see your comment. What's the name? What's the name? What's the name? Mr. Jeremiah, what's the name? Is this an hammer or a spinning bottom or a doji? What should we call this? What should we call this? Olodu, what's the name? What would you call this? What would you call this? Hammer, doji, spinning bottom? Okay, okay. Salud said hammer. Hammer, okay, cool. Spinning bottom, okay. Jeremiah said spinning bottom. Okay, well, I think a spinning bottom, the wick or the body of a spinning bottom is supposed to be at the center of the wicks, right? It's supposed to be at the center. The body is supposed to be at the center, but the body is above, you know. So I'm thinking, let's call this armor. Okay, let's call this armor. Yes, a doji should not have a body. Yes, this one has a body. So If we call it doji, doji indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. If we call it ama, ama also indicates change in trend from bearish to bullish. If you want to call it spiny bottom, it's okay. It's okay. All this candlestick pattern indicates that the trend is changing from bearish to bullish. So there's no need arguing what name, what's the name of, argue about the name, okay? All this candlestick pattern tells us the trend is changing from bearish to bullish, okay? So it's an AMA. That's the first thing. That tells me that there's a high probability that Euro USD will be bullish this week. Okay. Now, an AMA formed on the weekly time frame. Another thing we need to identify on the weekly, or another thing we need to take notice of, is that the AMA formed at a previous support level. So this tells me that the bearish move we observed in the market for some weeks now, was to clear liquidity at this previous relative low. That's why there was a breakout. Okay, that was why price broke out from that support level. Okay, that's why it broke out, tested this draw liquidity, this previous low. So I think that was the reason for this bearish move, was to clear liquidity at this previous low, and that they have achieved. I think they have achieved that. So right now, I think the bulls, there's more demand for euro. There's more demand for euro, so there's a high probability that price is likely going to go this week on euro. Okay, so we have AMA on a weekly time frame, which formed at a previous support level. Okay, so this is our support zone. So if you are considering selling, then you should wait for a candle to close below that support zone. If you are considering selling, right now, I think the bulls are showing up strong in the market, and I think the best direction to follow is the bullish direction. Okay, so let's go to 4 hour. So after identifying the pattern on the weekly time frame, we are switching down to the next lower time frame, which is the daily time frame. On a daily time frame, you guys should know what I always look out for there. The daily time frame should support the weekly time frame. We should have the same pattern on daily and the weekly time frame. So we've identified a bullish pattern on the weekly. If we go down to daily, we should also be able to identify a bullish pattern. You know those patterns, okay? If you are new to trading and you don't know those patterns, please just go to babypips.com. You have the basic information on how to trade candlestick patterns, okay? You need to be able to identify these patterns on the chart. That's the first thing you need to learn as a trader. That's the first strategy you need to learn as a beginner trader. Okay, so let's go down to daily. So you can see the pattern we have on daily. This tells me that the buyers are showing up strong in the market. But another thing you need to identify, or you need to take notice of on the daily time frame, is that when price tested the high of this previous bearish candlestick that formed before this candle that looks like a spinning bottom or hammer, before the formation of this bearish candle, you can see that price has tested the high of that bearish candle, and there has been some kind of rejection. It has formed a kind of a resistance, right, at that level. So this resistance must be broken. This high must be cleared. That means a candlestick must close above this high before we consider buying. Okay, a candle must close above that high before we can consider buying. I also think after the formation of this bullish candle, this spinning bottom, I want to believe a fair value gap was created on a lower time frame. A fair value gap was created on a lower time frame. So let's go to 4 hour. Let's see what we have on 4 hour. So you can see, sorry guys. So if we go down to 4 hour, what do we have on 4 hour? So you can see on 4 hour, this high has been cleared on 4 hour. Okay, this tells me that buyers are showing up stronger in the market. This high of this previous bearish candle has been cleared. The market is currently trading above that level. That tells me that buyers are showing up strong in the market. Okay, so Let's see, was the fair value gap created? Was the fair value gap created? Okay, I think a fair value gap was created. Um, okay, we have a fair value gap here. This is a fair value gap. Can you see that? Though that fair value gap has been filled. It has been filled. This, can you see this fair value gap? This fair value gap has been filled. You can see that has been filled. Okay, so what I will do is apply Fibonacci. Okay, take it from this swing low to this swing high. I just want to see price pull back to discount for me to buy. Okay, I want to wait for price to pull back to discounts before I would buy Euro USD. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Please, if you're new to this channel, ensure you subscribe so that you can be getting updates. Okay, each time I come online, Facebook will be able to notify you. Ensure you subscribe, and if you're getting value from this session, ensure you like the stream. Okay, so so that's my take on Euro USD. Okay, wait for price to pull back to a discount level before you consider buying. Okay, it's possible for price to just continue going up from the current market price. It's very possible from what I'm saying, because the fair value gap that was created on 4 hour, all those gaps has been filled. All those gaps has been filled. So if you are buying Euro USD, the next drawn liquidity on the 4 hour time frame will be this previous high. Okay, so your target should be around these levels, these highs, this previous high. That's where liquidity resides. Okay, so that's it on Euro USD. Okay, let's look at GBP JPY and Euro JPY. As you know, I think both pairs are positively correlated. Okay, so let's look at GBP JPY. So let's start with the weekly time frame. Candlestick formation on the weekly time frame will give us an idea of what we should expect this week. Okay. So can we say a double top just formed on the weekly time frame? Okay, on GJ weekly time frame, can we say a double top just formed on the weekly time frame? Right, this looks like a double top. Right, this looks like a double top. So we have a resistance zone. Okay, okay, this is a double top. Okay, so let's go down to daily. After the close of last week candle, closed strongly bullish, and with this pattern, I think a lot of retail traders will jump in and start buying, right? Because they will see this as a breakout. A lot of retail traders will see this as a breakout, right? We had a bearish candlestick that formed after this bullish candle and this doji. So we have a resistance, and last week candle closed above that resistance level. A lot of retail traders will jump in and start buying. And you know, when retail traders are buying, the institutions will sell. So I would not advise that you buy GBP JPY. Look at where price started going up. Look at where price started going up. Why would you want to buy at this price? As far as I'm concerned, GBP JPY is overbought at the moment. Even if price will keep going up on GBP JPY, this will not be a good time for you to buy GBP JPY. I hope you get what I'm saying. It's overpriced. It's at premium right now. So it won't make sense to buy GBP JPY. You should wait for price to pull back to a discount before you consider buying GBP JPY. For me, I think this is just a trap. This is a trap. Okay, let's go down to daily. Let's go to daily. Let's switch to daily. So you can see the formation we have on daily. Can you see the formation we have on daily? So a spinning, no, this is a shooting star. A shooting star candle formed on Friday. You can see that. So this tells me that the trend is changing from bullish to bearish. Okay, I think this bullish move was to earn for stop losses at this level, was to clear liquidity at this previous highs. I think that was the reason for this bullish move, and that they have achieved. So there is a high probability that this week the institutions will want to sell GBP JPY. Okay, so after the formation of this spinning top on shooting star on the daily time frame, Let's go down to 4 hour time frame. So what are we looking for on the 4 hour time frame? Bearish reversal pattern. The 4 hour time frame must support the daily time frame. Okay, the daily and the 4 hour should give us the same direction. Okay, they must align. Both time frames must align. So let's go down to 4 hour. We should have a bearish reversal pattern on 4 hour. Let's go, let's go. So you can see on 4 hour time frame, we have, this is a spinning top. This is a spinning top, and before the formation of this spinning top, we already had what looks like an engulfing pattern here. You can see that we have what looks like an engulfing pattern, and Thursday candle, no, this 4 hour candle close as a spinning top, indicating change in trend. Okay, now you also take notice of this support that was formed here. Okay, so if you are considering selling, patiently wait for that support to be broken. This support, you can see it was a support here, it was also a support here. So you should wait for price to break this support before you consider selling. That's my take on GBP JPY. And if you are selling, as you can see, I've identified this is my first TP. This is my first TP on GBP JPY. As you can see, a fair value gap was created here. Okay, a fair value gap was created here, which is in confluence with this, the high of this bearish candle. Okay, fair value gap was created here, which is in confluence with the high of this previous candle. That's why I'm setting this level. That's why this level will be my TP on GBP JPY. Okay, so let's see after the formation of this spinning top. Okay, let's see if a fair value gap was created on 1 hour or 15 minutes time frame. Let's see if a fair value gap was created on 1 hour or 15 minutes time frame. Okay, let's go to 1 hour. So you can see what we have on 1 hour. So was a fair value gap created here? Let's go to 15 minutes. So you can see on 15 minutes a fair value gap was created. Can you see that? We had a fair value gap here on 15 minutes time frame. So we should wait for price to pull back. That's my take on GJ. Let's wait for price to pull back and fill this fair value gap before we consider selling. This pullback is likely going to take place on Monday. It's likely going to occur on Monday. The pullback would occur on Monday during London session or the New York session. So patiently wait for the pullback if you are considering selling GJ. Okay, if it does not occur, if it does not happen on Monday, then we should expect it on Tuesday. We should expect it on Tuesday. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Okay, so that's my take on GJ. Let's move to EJ. I believe you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? So let's go to the weekly. What pattern do we have on the weekly? The pattern we have on what was it called? On Euro JPY is similar to what we have on GJ, right? The pattern is similar, but I think the pattern on Euro JPY looks nice, looks more promising than what we have on GJ. So if I would choose between GJ and Euro JPY, I think I will go for Euro JPY, and I'll tell you why. If you look at Euro JPY weekly time frame, you can see we had a fair value gap here. Can you see this fair value gap? Can you see this fair value gap? And I think that gap has been filled on the weekly time frame. Can you see that? That gap has been filled on the weekly time frame. So the setup or the pattern on Euro JPY, I think, is better than what we have on GJ. So let's go down to daily after the close of. You can see that gap has been filled. So let's see after the formation of last weekend, what do we have on daily? So you can see also on daily we have a shooting star. You can see that on a daily we have a shooting star that formed at a fair value gap. You can see that formed at a fair value gap. Okay, so that tells me the trend is changing from bullish to bearish. So after the formation of this shooting star on daily, We'll switch down to 4 hour. Okay, we need to identify a bearish reversal pattern also on 4 hour. 4 hour pattern must align with the daily pattern. So let's go to 4 hour. So you can see the pattern we have here is similar to what we have on GJ. So let's identify the support that was formed. Okay, we had a support that was formed here. So this is our support zone. Okay, this was support zone. So we need to wait for price to break that support zone before we consider selling EJ. Okay, we need to wait for price to break that support before we consider selling Euro JPY. Okay, if you're not a fundamental trader, I would suggest you focus on cross currency pair this week because we have several major news that will be released this week. CPI will be released this week, I think on Wednesday. Okay, so if you are not a fundamental trader, you might want to consider trading the cross currency pairs. Okay, I'll trade more of crosses this week. Okay, I'll trade more of crosses this week because of the fundamentals. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Mr. Akinwumi, what pattern are you referring to? Which of the pattern? Is it the pattern we have on Euro JPY? We started from the weekly time frame. We started from the weekly time frame, and I said on the weekly time frame, if you look at the weekly time frame, let me go back to the weekly time frame. So if you go back to the weekly time frame, a fair value gap was created several weeks ago. A fair value gap was created several weeks ago, and there was a pullback. And I think the pullback was to fill that fair value gap. That fair value gap has been created on the weekly time frame. It has been filled. Sorry, the fair value gap has been filled on the weekly time frame. So we should expect a pullback. Okay, we should expect a pullback. We should expect a bearish move from that fair value gap. So let's go down to daily. So we're actually using the pattern on the daily time frame to define the trend for this week, because on the daily time frame we can clearly see that a shooting star, which is a bearish reversal pattern, was formed, right? That was last Friday. A bearish reversal pattern formed, which is a shooting star, indicates change in trend from bullish to bearish. So we are looking for sell opportunity because a shooting star formed on the daily. So we'll go down to 4 hour. Like I said, the 4 hour time frame, the 4 hour pattern must align with the daily time frame. So if we are seeing a bearish setup on the daily time frame, 4 hours should also align. We should see a bearish setup or a bearish reversal pattern should form on a daily, on a 4 hour time frame. So let's go to 4 hour. So if you see what we have on 4 hour here, we had this is a spinning top. Okay, this is a spinning top indicating change in trend from bearish to bullish. Also, we had a spinning top here also formed, indicating, so we've had several candlestick formation indicating that the trend is likely going to change. Okay, so there's a high probability, considering the patterns that we have here, that the trend is changing from bullish to bearish. But like I said, if you see at this point, you can see that we had a support. A support was formed, so we had a support zone here. So if we are to sell Euro JPY this week, we should wait for price to break this support zone before we sell. Okay, I hope that is clear. We should wait for price to break that support before we sell. Okay, so let's go to 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour, what do we have on 1 hour? So you can see on 1 hour also, this was the support zone. On 1 hour, price also ranged at this area, you can see. So we need to wait for price to break, and also on 1 hour you would see that we had a shooting star at this point. So I think this bullish move was to hunt maybe clear stop losses at this previous high. I think that was the essence for this bullish move. So if price started going up from this point, then if we are considering selling, we should wait for price to break this level where price started going up. Okay, we should wait for price to break this level where price started going up. Okay, so wait for a candlestick to close below this level before you consider selling Euro JPY this week. Okay, wait for price to break that level before you consider selling Euro JPY. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. If you have any question, drop it in the comment space. Drop it in the comment space. I guess someone is trying to call. That's the reason it's going on and off. I guess someone is trying to call. Let me see. Not really. Okay. Let's switch it. Can you guys hear me? 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 I guess the network is beginning to mess up. So, guys, I believe you can hear me. You can hear me. I hope that is clear on GJ and Euro JPY. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Is there another pair you want us to analyze? Just drop it in the comment space. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's move to the next pair. Which other pair do you want us to analyze? Drop it in the comment space. Okay, we've looked at GJ, we've looked at Euro JPY. Okay, we've looked at which other pair? We've looked at GBP USD, we've analyzed Euro USD. Okay, let's look at Euro Aussie. Okay, Euro Aussie, I think we have a good setup on Euro Aussie. So let's just look at it. There's a good setup on Euro Aussie. Let's start with the weekly. So let's start with the weekly. So you can see on the weekly, last week candle closed as a spinning top. Last week candle closed as a spinning top. You would also notice that a fair value gap was created at this point. You can see a fair value gap was created at this point. So I think that bullish move, the bullish move we've experienced the past weeks, okay, 4 to 5 or 6 weeks now. Okay, this bullish move was to fill this fair value gap. Okay, it was to fill this fair value gap and also to clear liquidity at this previous high. Okay, I think that was the essence for this bullish move. Okay, and I think that they have achieved. That they have achieved. Okay, so we have a resistance zone here. This is a resistance zone. If a candlestick breaks out from this high, if a candle breaks out from this high, then we could see price push up to this next area of liquidity, this equal highs. Okay, so if that resistance is broken, okay, so we had a spinning top on the weekly time frame. Let's go to daily. What do we have on daily? So you can see on daily, we had a resistance level was formed here. You can see that's what we have on daily. But let's go to last Friday candle close bearish. That tells me that bears are showing up strong in the market. Okay, and you can see this level was a resistance. You can see resistance, resistance. Can you see it? It was also a resistance at this level. You can see it. Okay, so I think this breakout we saw here was to trap, was to get a lot of retail traders to buy, right? Because they will see this, a lot of retail traders will see this as a breakout, and a lot of retail traders will jump in and start buying. Yeah, they will see this as a breakout. But I think the reason there was a breakout from this resistance was to clear liquidity at this previous high. That was the reason for this breakout. It was to clear the liquidity at this area. And after they achieved that, you see what happened? Price retraced. A lot of traders would have jumped in because they will see this as a valid breakout, because the body of the candle closed above this resistance level. They will see it as a breakout and they will jump in and start buying. Okay, so I think they have achieved that. So where is price heading to now? Let's go to 4 hour. We should have a very good bearish reversal pattern on 4 hour time frame. Okay, let's go to 4 hour. So you can see the pattern we have on 4 hour. Okay, this is an engulfing pattern. You can see this is an engulfing pattern, and this is a shooting star. This tells me that the trend is changing. So this would have been the best price to buy, to sell. So this would have been the best price after the close of this engulfing candle. Okay, this pullback, this what's it called? Shooting star you see here. This pullback you saw here was to fill a fair value gap on lower time frame. A fair value gap that was created after the formation of that engulfing. Let's go to lower time frame. Let me just show you the fair value gap. Let's see on 1 hour if a fair value gap was created. Okay, let's go to 15 minutes. I just want to show you there was a fair value gap that was created. That was the reason for that pullback. So if you go to 15 minutes, let's see, there is a very small fair value gap here on 15 minutes. Let me show you that on 15 minutes. Very small fair value gap was created at this point. Can you see it? A very small one. Very small one. A very small fair value gap was created at this level. Very small. Very small fair value gap. So I think that's the reason for that pullback. That pullback was to go fill this fair value gap. You can see. So immediately they filled that fair value gap, what happened? Price started dropping. So that would have been the best time to sell. After this pullback to fill that fair value gap, that would have been the best time to sell. So right now, price is far below where we should have entered sell on on Euro Aussie. Okay, so after the formation of this bearish candle, let's go down to 4 hour. What do we have on 4 hour? So you can see price it's been bearish. It has been bearish. So I would not advise that you sell from this from the current market price. Wait for a pullback. Okay, wait for a pullback on Euro Aussie before you sell. Just apply. You could just apply your Fibonacci. Wait for price to pull back to discount. Take it from this swing high. Okay, take it from this swing high to this swing low. Okay, the market has opened. A new candle has opened for the week. All right, so you can see. Can you see it? I think it's 11 p.m. already. So the candle has opened for the new week. Okay, so you can see. So wait for price to pull back. Wait for price to pull back before you consider selling Euro Aussie. My buyers on Euro Aussie this week is bearish. I would go hard on Euro Aussie this week. Like I told you guys, I'll focus more on cross currency pair this week. Euro Aussie, Euro JPY, GBP, JPY. Those are the pairs I would really focus on this week. Maybe I'll just trade one of the majors, maybe gold. I might also consider trading gold, but that will be after a major news is released, or maybe on Tuesday. That's when I'll consider trading one of the USD pairs. Okay, so that's my take on Euro Australian dollar. Wait for a pullback. Don't jump in and start selling. Selling at the current market price, as far as I'm concerned, is at a very high risk. It's at a very high risk. If you want to be a profitable trader, you want to ensure that your risks are minimized. Okay, your risk are minimized. You want to ensure that your risk reward is at least 1 to 2. Okay, you want to ensure that your risk reward is at least 1 to 2 if you want to be a profitable trader, a consistently profitable trader. Okay, so patiently wait for price to pull back. Okay, so that's it for Euro Australian dollar. I'm still bearish, okay, on Euro Australian dollar. So I think the next draw on liquidity will be, this will be my first target, this previous low. This will be my first target, and this will be my second target for the week. Yeah, that will be my target for Euro Australian dollar. So I think that will be all for tonight's session. Do you have any question? If you have any question, please let me know. If there are no questions, then we would have to end tonight's session. You have any question? If you have any question, let me know, guys. If you have any question, let me know, Any question? So our next session, if there are no questions, our next session will be on Tuesday, 10 a.m., Wednesday, 10 a.m., and also Thursday, 10 a.m. Okay, we'll have review session on Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Thursday, 10 a.m. Okay, so if you have any question, I believe most of you have my WhatsApp number. Send me a message on WhatsApp, okay, and your questions will be attended to. So I appreciate you guys for your participation in tonight's session. I wish you guys a profitable week. Please, as you trade this week, ensure that you trade your plan, okay? Ensure that you apply good risk and money management. I've always advised you guys, don't rush the market. The market will always be here. Okay, don't rush the market. Don't over leverage. Take it easy on your capital. Don't try to flip your account in few days. Don't try to flip your account. Okay, take your time. Trade like a professional. On every trade you execute in the market, ensure that you apply stop loss. I've always told you guys, before you execute a trade, you should know the risk involved. You should know the potential profits, the potential reward you're going to make on that trade. Don't trade based on emotions, okay? Every trade you execute should be logical. It should be strategic, okay? Don't over leverage. Take it easy on your capital. Okay, I'm rooting for you guys. I wish you guys all the best this week. If you have any challenge, do not hesitate to drop me a message on WhatsApp. Do have a wonderful night.